Good morning, Gills fans, and welcome back to another edition of Gills in the Blood TV. Flying solo this morning. Boz has got other plans, can't be bothered. Something like that. Could be a bit of both. I think he's given up, bless him. So it's just my dulcet tones to enjoy this morning as I have a look back at Saturday. Try to find some positives moving forward and have a look ahead to the final 5 games and see where we go from there in this desperate bid to try and stave off relegation from League One into League Two. Obviously, I wasn't at the game Saturday. I do like to reiterate that, so I can't talk in terms of individuals' performances, etc., etc. So we're just going to have a look back at the highlights, the Monday papers, and try and give a brief overview of what happened and what went wrong again, sadly. So firstly is Sunday's edition of the Football League paper. Not a huge report. Obviously Adi Pennant, we know, didn't do media duties afterwards, so the headline, Lovell sick as Dons nick it at the death. Not much more to be said regarding that, to be honest. Same old mistakes again. I'm on copy and paste and repeat, unfortunately, like Adi Pennant seems to be in his press conference most weeks, and how the after-match interviews seem to go. Steve Lovell come out and said all the right things, and if we play like we did second half in the first half, we'd have won the football match. And same as Coventry said that if we played second half, as well as the second half against Coventry in the first half of that game, we'd have won that. Bottom line is we didn't, and we didn't. We lost both football matches. We look like we're in free fall. Confidence is at an all-time low. There's no momentum at all. And I think everyone's really struggling to see where we can accumulate enough points to get us to a safe mark. In terms of the Football League paper, I'm going to leave it till the end. There is something in there. There's a nice piece on the football club. It might cheer you all up, hopefully. I'm going to have an in-depth look at it a bit later. But for now, we'll move on to the Monday edition of the Medway Messenger. Headline says it all. SOS. Save our season. Steve Lovell has come and done media duties on Saturday, as I've mentioned. Not sure where Adi was. He's been very forthright, and it's good to see and a little bit refreshing. But unless the players do start turning up, do roll up their sleeves and start digging in and earning these points, talk is cheap again. We've said that for months. It's futile if the players don't react. We've already said we're fed up of hearing the same stuff each week, and we've had a chat in the dressing room. The players have reacted well Monday. We've trained well all week. We're looking forward to the game, and then we get beat again. I think we're all a little bit bored of that line. But what else are they going to say? In terms of the game, Gill's management team are demanding more after dropping deeper into relegation trouble on Saturday. And then Steve Lovell goes on to talk about the fact that we've let down 650 supporters who've travelled to Stadium MK to watch that again. And he's been quite frank. He said it's the players. He said he trains them all week along with Adi and Jamie and the fitness coach and everyone else, and then they're just not doing their jobs on a Saturday. So that's been a question that's been bandied about now for quite a while. Who and in which order would you blame certain individuals or regimes, etc., for the shocking season that we've had? And I tweeted on Saturday or Sunday and said, firstly, it's the players. Regardless of who coaches them and teaches them what they're meant to be doing, they crossed that white line on a Saturday, and for 41 games, they've been shocking. I mean, if you take out August's performances, I think we'd have been relegated long ago. So players for me, based on the fact that they've been awful for pretty much 41 games, and the fact that there's a lot of this squad that were there last season when we were very good and overachieved and finished 9th, which was our highest position for quite a while. Secondly, Paul Scally, for me. Obviously, people watched our Monday review last week. I went off on one massively. I'm not going to go into too much detail. But he took the easy option in January. He sacked at Justin Edinburgh, which I said was the correct call. But there were players available, managers available, that could have come in and improved us, and we could have pushed on up the table and still had a shot at the playoffs. He didn't. He's admitted that he said he couldn't be bothered to interview everyone. So in terms of you caring about the club and always putting us first, Paul. I'm not sure you did, to be honest, mate. And then underneath that, Justin Edinburgh, David Kerslake, whoever else was around with him, and Adi Pennock, Jamie Day, Steve Lovell, they all have to take the blame. I've put them bottom, as in both sets of coaching staffs, because can it be both sets of coaching teams that can be to blame? For me, no, it has to be the players. There's something fundamentally wrong in terms of aptitude, fortitude, mental strength. We all know that they've all got plenty of ability because we saw it last season, and it was all great watching them when we were playing well for 75-80% of that season and winning football matches. But we imploded last season when the going got tough, and it's just continued for the whole of this season effectively. So, as Steve Lovell states in this Medway Messenger today, they have got to take a long, hard look at themselves, and they have got to show more in the last 5 games. Otherwise, we are simply getting relegated into League Two. I'm going to have a little look at the goals individually and just go through them. Similarly to Rochdale's first a couple of weeks ago, the first goal's a very good. He smashed it in the top corner. I mean, Thomas Holy at 6'9" not even bothered. He's getting nowhere near it. He's just hoping it goes wide, and it doesn't. It flies in. Practically, it's the stanchion. But the build up to it is absolutely schoolboy again. I mean, it's not on. I've not caught it on the highlights, but Deji Osalaja gives it to the geezer 3 yards away, makes no real attempt to track back in and help and try and recover the situation. You see Josh Wright then has to drop back into left back, and he's pointing desperately at someone to go to ball. Do we, heck? The geezer smashes in the top corner. We stand off, and it happens again. Absolutely the same as Rochdale. Absolutely the same as last week when we conceded in the last minute at home to Peterborough. Just a disaster again from start to finish in terms of how we are meant to perform our duties. Second goal's even worse for me. There's literally no pressure on the ball. Their player's got it just inside his half in the centre circle, plays a slide-through ball in to their player who's got his back to goal, about 25 yards out, one flick and we're carved open, and they're in behind, one-on-one, wholly no chance again. Schoolboy stuff again. For me, it's absolutely abysmal. And again, I said this plenty of time. It's stuff you'd moan at under 5s, under 12s, if you want to quote the manager again, for not getting right. It's just simple things, and we can't grasp it at all. In fairness to a second half, we've scored a very good first. Lee Martin on the right receives the ball back from a throw-in and gets it out his feet, and his delivery's decent enough. It's into a danger area. Cody McDonald adjusts brilliantly to cushion it in to the bottom corner first time. There's probably not a lot else he can do that. If he lashes it, he probably misses the target. And it's a super little finish, gives the keeper no chance. And from there, obviously, we was hopeful that we could go and try and push on and get something. And then we got the penalty. Josh Wright had it saved, and then he scores the rebound. And I suppose you think as a fan, is that the bit of luck that we need? Is that the turn? Is that the rub of the green going our way, so to speak, where we've missed the penalty but stuck away the rebound? And surely we can claim a point after being shocking for the most part, but it's a massive point. But unfortunately, we all know what happened immediately after that penalty. Third goal again is just another catalogue of errors. Unfortunately, we concede a free kick. Apparently, there was some talk that it shouldn't have been a free kick, and maybe that's why Bradley Dack got dismissed in the aftermath. But to be sent off for dissent is just stupid, absolutely stupid, and it's a real shame because Dackie's just been getting back to his best, and he's starting to affect games like he was last season. I know Lee Clifton wrote a blog piece in the week stating that we need the likes of Dacky and Cody McDonald available for the rest of these massive 5 games, and now we miss him for 2 because it's his second red card and it's through petulance, absolute petulance. I've seen the first yellow, you take that, they were breaking, so you've stopped them playing. I've got no issue with that in a danger zone, but to be sent off for dissent is it's not the first time this season that we've lost a player to stupidity, though, is it? So, again, it comes back to not learning and continually making the same mistakes. And the goal itself is an absolute abomination. Again, it's a hopeful ball into the box. Thomas Holy, who supposedly has made plenty of good saves that have kept us in it, but unfortunately he has to apportion some of the blame to him. He's come miles and got nowhere near it. But even then, Dean Lewington heads it up in the air. It's not straight in the net. It goes up a good sort of 10, 15 foot, it looks like, and drops in slowly under the crossbar. Plenty have tweeted and said, why have at least not one of our centre-backs tried to attempt it? Now, I've had a look at it again, and I stated that both of them seem to make no effort, but Zesh Raymond's the closest to it, and it just seems to drop right next to him, and he's made no attempt to try and hook it off the line. And again, it's just a shocking goal to concede. We had one thing to do from 2-2, and that was just defend properly and just get rid, lump it anywhere, Rose head out the stand towards the other end. Couldn't manage it, and that's why we've conceded again. That's why we've lost 4 on the bounce, and that's why we're currently staring into the abyss. Obviously, I've dug out, or whatever you want to call it, and looked at certain individuals from a point of view of the goals that we've conceded, but on the whole, the performance wasn't good enough. Looking at the ratings in the Medway Messenger, they've gone Thomas Holy 5, the whole back 4, Ryan Jackson, Max Amar, Zesh Raymond and Deji Osolaj, they've given 4 each. Harry Cornick 5, Josh Wright 6, Mark Burnley, Martin 5, Bradley Dack 5 and Cody McDonald 6. So that tells you the problem where it lies. It's another shocking performance on the whole. What's the old saying? It's the hope that kills you. And even when we get back to 2-2 and hope and pray and think that we've pinched a point, which could be massive come the end of the season, again we've shot ourselves in the foot. In terms of Josh Wright and Cody McDonald both getting 6s, is that a point added on because they've scored the goals? You don't know. But it's just very, very disappointing. Again, I'm not even going to get angry anymore. It's a horrible feeling. It's one of almost resignation and trying to be positive, trying to look forward to Millwall. And all we can do is hope and pray that we pitch some points against sides that we probably shouldn't have this season. Sheffield United away and Bradford away and Southend and Scunthorpe at home. That's 6, 7, 8 points from 12 against sides that were in and around the playoffs and the promotion pack when we've played them. So all we can do is cross our fingers and everything else and hope that come Saturday we can turn up in what should be classed as a derby game. We know our rivalry with our friends Millwall, but we're missing key players again. Bradley Dack's not going to be available, so how do we play? Do we change the system? It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. But anyway, there's a little interview with Cody McDonald himself, and he states that he's very frustrated that he missed a chance at 1-on-1, hit it against the keeper when we were 2-1 down, and could have made a massive difference in terms of the final result. But one comment he made, and this is worrying. This is after he's talking about obviously getting back to 2-2. Maybe our heads switched off because we thought we had done it, reflected McDonald. They were down to 10 men as George Williams was sent off for the foul on Cody for the penalty. But we can't do things like that at this level because we will get punished. Correct. And it's great that you've said it, Cody, but we've been saying it for months. And yet again, we've done exactly the same thing. And that's what's frustrating and heartbreaking for us as fans to watch it. And then he goes on to say a little bit later in the piece, we know as a team we have to start better. We're in a bad position, and the lads maybe didn't realise a couple of weeks ago, but now it's realistic. That's massively alarming. So apparently some of the squad up until the last sort of 14 days weren't aware that we're in a massive relegation dogfight. This goes back to minerals and fortitude and mental aptitude and all sorts. If they're just coasting along thinking we're going to be all right and someone else is going to dig us out of this massive hole, then we've got a real problem going forward. And he ends up by saying, if we can't perform next week in a local derby against Millwall, we don't deserve to be out there. Spot on. So it's up to you now, Cody, and everyone else to go out there and prove that you do deserve to be out there and prove that you do deserve to wear this shirt and play for this badge. Because unfortunately, plenty of Gillingham fans at the moment don't buy it. They don't think people do deserve to be wearing that football shirt, and it's horrible to watch. It's really, really horrible to watch. And I had an issue last week, Thursday. It all sort of went off on Twitter. I'm going to mention it. Two moronic Gillingham supporters, in my eyes, decided that I was too negative and wasn't showing enough positive attitude towards our current plight. I don't know whether it's optimism or whatever, or am I just being realistic? That's up to you guys to choose. But this went too far. I mean, I've got no problem with people disagreeing with me and having a chat and a discussion and an argument, whatever you will. If people have got different beliefs, that's fine. No issue with that at all. That's why we love football, and that's why we follow it and talk about it all the time. But people crossed the line with me last week and went into my private Facebook account to try and prove that I was a fake Gillingham fan. So I will tell people, because it's no drama to me. My dad is a lifelong Tottenham Hotspur fan, and these two idiots decided that they were going to find pictures of me in a Spurs shirt from, Christ knows, about 10 years ago, to prove that I was a fake Gillingham supporter and I was a fraud or whatever. To them people, if you do see this, and I hope you do, where did I stand, or where did I sit at White Hart Lane on 21st of September 2016? That tells you all you need to know about my loyalties. Yes, I look out for Tottenham's results in the Premier League because my dad's a massive fan of theirs and has been for 40 odd years, or since he was a boy, and he's 67 now. But I spend good earned money on going to watch Gillingham Football Club because I love them and they're my passion and my first love. You won't win, and I appreciate you two idiots that thought you were going to try and, I don't know, whatever you wanted to do, bring down my Twitter page or whatever. I don't know what you was trying to achieve. It's looking back, it's quite funny. You've obviously got no real life if you want to take enough time to be doing that sort of stuff. But thanks to everyone that obviously got involved in supporting me and messaging me, and thankfully the two accounts were removed because, like I say, they massively crossed the line. And I appreciate Hawko, who mentioned in his preview prior to the weekend their support from the Last Walks blog. It is massively appreciated. But I've been to more Gillingham football matches in the last 2 months than I've been to Spurs in my life. Take as it what you will, I don't mind. Like I say, I'm a Gillingham supporter through and through. I go to home games every week. I try and go away when I can. Unfortunately, not as much as I'd love to because work obviously dictates that. Anyway, that's enough on the matter. I don't want to give them any more airtime. In terms of moving forward, obviously we have to wait now till Saturday. We've got a massive game at home to Millwall. There'll be a preview piece in the run up to that, and obviously I'll go through Ady's press conference on Thursday or Friday, whenever it may be. But there's just one piece now in the Football League paper from yesterday that I'm going to have a look at just to try and cheer everyone up a little bit. Found this at the back of the Football League paper. Where are they now? They do a piece like this every week, and I've just stumbled across it. Gillingham 1999-2000 second division playoff winners. It's great looking back at old team photos and stuff. I think it was Jay Wilson tweeted me one of the 97-98 squad the other day and said, oh, those were the days. And I think a lot of people seem to be doing that at the moment, those that perceive to be too negative and, you know, and anti-Ady Pennock and anti-Gills and all sorts. We're not anti-Ady Pennock, we're not anti... Well, maybe some are, but I'm certainly not anti-Gillingham Football Club. There's plenty that think that us negative people seem to revel in the fact that Gills are struggling. It's not the case. If we turn up and bash Millwall at the weekend, there'll be no people happier than me. And if we somehow stay up and Ady keeps the job and does a great job next season, then I'll happily say, look, I'll eat humble pie or whatever you want me to do, and say that I was wrong. Anyway, this piece is brilliant. Gillingham could have been forgiven for dreading a return trip to Wembley's Twin Towers so soon after their most heartbreaking defeat in their history. May 1999 had been a Sunday they would never forget, as Carlos Saba and Robert Taylor struck twice in the last 10 minutes to put them 2-0 up against Man City. I'm not going to read any further because we all know what happened that day. But then it goes on, fast forward almost exactly a year, and they found themselves back at Wembley, but now by Peter Taylor, had replaced Tony Pulis as manager. Obviously, it just goes through a little bit of the season. But then the thing is, it goes through the squad, and it's named them all and what they're doing now, and it's good to see. I mean, there's people on there like Matty Bryant, who seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. He obviously was one of the sort of squad members that year. He didn't get much game time because obviously of the form of the likes of Guy Butters and Barry Ashby and Adrian Pennock. But apparently he's now working in social services and a respite home for children, so completely different lifestyle now, and probably missed the boat in terms of being able to retire on his football money, because obviously Sky TV was still relatively in its infancy then. It was only sort of 7 years old, whereas now anyone who's sort of Championship, which we went into after beating Wigan, can probably retire after they've finished their career. But it's great to see some of the old names, even the slightly lesser known ones of that squad that people might have forgotten about, like Christian Lee, Anthony Williams, goalkeeper, Big Fat Jim still on there, which is brilliant. Like I say, Matty Bryant, Kevin Bremner, the old youth team coach, Johnny Hodge, who now lives in Cornwall, it says, and is running a sports coaching business. Obviously Nicky Southall, we know all about, and Andy Hessenthaler, they're all on there. Brian Statham, fullback from back in the day. Brian McGlinchey, another one. Simon Ratcliffe, who's now a prison officer, it says, and obviously he ran the Gills ladies team for a while. James Pinnock, who I think is on Twitter somewhere. Mickey Galloway. Obviously Steve Butler massively in that final against Wigan, we know all about him, and Andy Thompson. And then who else is on there? Mark Patterson, who's still with us. Neil Masters, another fullback who obviously was one of the lesser known members of that squad. But it's brilliant to see them all. The team photo is great, and it's just a wonderful trip down memory lane. Anyway, that's enough rabbiting from me today. I'll see you later in the week. Once again, like I said, thanks for all the support last week. No one had to do it. It was massively appreciated. I won't stop doing this because I love this football club so much, and I love interacting with plenty of you fans that take the time to talk and message and like and retweet and subscribe and do all that on here and on Twitter and everything like that. And the channel will be nothing without you lot, so thank you very much. Anyway, until we speak later in the week, up the Gills.